Today we're going to be having a look at this, the Mercedes 300e. Now this is a W212 from 2011, and the way I describe this is that this is the luxury saloon. You're simply not going to find anything more iconic than a Mercedes saloon car. Under that large bonnet, you're going to find a 3-litre engine, producing quite a comfortable 248 horsepower. Now, the speed of this car is going to run out at a mere 250 kilometers per hour. And from 0 to 60, it will glide you there in elegance and style in all of 6.4 seconds. Now, the real place to get sold on is the interior, and what we have here is by all means quite a simple but incredibly luxurious interior. The seat is very plush, and when you're driving it just eases you throughout any bumps that you may find. To go with this, of course, we have a cup holder system here and quite a fun opening little holder here for any storage you may need. We of course have a typical glove box and a little section down here, so storage is not an issue. We also have several features here on the radio, including one which allows you to bring up a rear sunshade, which is always quite fun. In terms of the steering wheel, a little bit plain. I believe this may be from the previous model. The flappy pedals are good and easy to reach, and your indicator as well as your windscreen wipers are controlled from this one stalk here. On the opposite side here, you have your driving selector, which operates in a completely the same way, and all it gives you is drive, neutral, reverse, and of course park. Now, to go with your large cabin space, you of course need quite a large boot. Now, the one we have here is impressively large. It goes all the way down there, and I wonder if it ever stops. Now, as any good German car will have, you have your warning triangle stored safely above here. To go with that, you have a spare storage bin placed here, which can lower down to hold any small items that you may not want to go around as much. Now, it doesn't stop there. Of course, we have your spare tyre beneath here, and little nets just to hold any booklets that you may find. In this case, we have our owner's manual. Now, to close your boot, you can either simply press this button to close it, or you can lock it. Now, the car's filled with a lot of electronic sensors, so if it detects that the key is still inside, the boot, or the whole car in fact, will not lock, but it will always close whenever you desire. As you drive this car, you certainly feel very privileged to be doing so. No less the fact you're surrounded by a perfectly luxurious interior. Driving the car is beautifully simple, and there's no stress involved. All you need to do is look out your front windscreen across a very long bonnet and peer at the road through the small Mercedes crest, which is a great way to keep reminding you that you are in a Mercedes-Benz. Now, in terms of the physical act of driving, it's relatively easy. All I can say is that this is one of the longest cars I've ever driven. So, positioning it on the road, I felt personally to be a little bit difficult. But some advice I found afterwards was that you use the Mercedes badge to pinpoint where the front of the vehicle ends. And it's a little bit difficult trying to find where the back of the vehicle is. However, this car is filled with an awful lot of technology, and it has reversing cameras and some sensors to help you out. One thing that I found quite amusing was that there's about 72 sensors in this vehicle that will let you know when your driving is getting a little bit sluggish. And the way they'd let you know is that they'd put a little symbol on the dashboard resembling a hot cup of coffee. Now, this model started production in 2009 and ran all the way up to, I believe, 2014. However, in December of 2012, the car received a facelift, as well as a few other smaller items like updates in technology features and improved fuel economy, enhancing safety systems, little things like that. The thing that surprises me is that Mercedes was able to spend a reported billion euros on this update. The Mercedes W212 can trace its roots back all the way to the beginning of the Mercedes E-Class, and the Mercedes E-Class can trace its roots back all the way to the 170S, which was made all the way back in 1949. This car became the backbone for Daimler-Benz, as it was the first real production saloon car that they had made after the advent of the Second World War. There's lots of different models, and I'll show you a selection of them on screen here, and I don't really have time to cover them all. Perhaps that's a video in of itself another day. However, I always find the history of Mercedes-Benz so fascinating, because what some of you may know is that all the way back in 1885, a German engineer by the name of Carl Benz created the first practical modern automobile. Just reading the article about it here, something I found quite amusing is that the car was reportedly slower, less aesthetically pleasing, and less reliable than horses. However, the car is now considered the genesis of the modern automobile. This is why when I look at any Mercedes-Benz, I feel that there's so much history behind them, beautiful and tragic. So, to conclude, the Mercedes-Benz E300 of the W212 generation is a wonderful car. Not only does it have beauty and elegance that you'd typically expect from a luxury Mercedes, you also have the rich history and surprising amount of technology that is all encapsulated into one beautiful vehicle. Now, with that being said, thank you once again for watching. Do feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye now.